Hey everybody, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. How y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good for Saturday. Little stuffed up, but that's allergies, There's nothing I can do about it. Um, I mean there is, but you know, it's allergies. Just move on. Um, but a lot of people, you see it, and it's always a lot of new people. That they think their life is over because they have Meniere's disease and things are going to change and all this stuff, or you see the people who are waiting, they just want the thing over with, you know, they just want that magic pill, that magic cure. And the new people always want to know why there's no cure. And, and, and then, of course, the people who have been around for a while, like me, and they understand that, hey, your life isn't over. There are things that you can do to help, whether it's medications, surgeries, I mean, chiropractic, supplements, things like that. And you can live somewhat of a normal life. Because there's always going to be a change, okay? No matter what, you're going to have to change, you know? Life isn't going to be the way you thought it was going to be. It's just not at this point. So now you got to find a way to live it and live it better, and it takes time. But nobody wants to have the patience for it, and that's a lot of the problem. One of the thing is that one thing I will say is last year or last summer, I had made a video about SPI-1005, Epsilon, the clinical trial drug, and I never said it's not going to work for not going to work at all. I said it's going to be like beta histine. It's going to work for some and not for others. I've got a guy who's just constantly badgering me. I don't know why he keeps watching the same video over and over. I mean, if you want to go back and look at something, that's one thing, but watch the video over and over and comment. And now the guy is telling me that he is a doctor and has been suffering for a year and a half, and he's been waiting for this miracle cure. And the thing is that I doubt he's a doctor, because if he was, he'd actually do research, and realize that this is not a cure for Meniere's disease. Far from it. It's to help with tinnitus and hearing, which can be brought on from anything. There's so many things that could bring on tinnitus, not just Meniere's disease. Um, my son, for example, he was in the Army for 6 years, Army Reserve, but they were always firing M16s or M14s or whatever, the M4 carbines. Yeah, he wore earplugs, but he's got tinnitus. It's not from Meniere's disease. It's from firing off the weapons. So that's kind of what this medication is for. But some people don't realize this, and they think it's going to cure their Meniere's disease, and it's not. It's not meant for that. Now, if it does help with vertigo, that's awesome. That's a plus. Okay? But I'm not going to tell somebody not to take it, or try it. You should, if you have the right qualifications for it. Now, for me, it's not going to do much. Okay? And that's me. I'm not talking about other people, because that's another thing I'll get into in a minute. I'm talking about other people, but for me specifically, it's not going to do anything. And I'll tell you why. Because I have no labyrinth in this ear. It's been taken out at 2019. I also, those three little bones that are in there, the hammer, the anvil, and I don't know what the other one's called, they've been removed. Okay? And my eardrum doesn't work at all. It's just there for show. They were removed because they were loaded with arthritis. And this side has a little bit of arthritis. So eventually these bones are going to seize too. um, so as far as the hearing goes, it's not going to help me. As far as tinnitus, I'm so used to it right now, it doesn't bother me. And I know it bothers a lot of people. And yesterday I did have a bad tinnitus attack in this ear, and it did bother me. But for me, I just don't see how it will work or help me. And to be honest with you, I talked to my doctor about it, and she researched it, and she said, she goes, yeah, for a lot of people it'll help. And she said, I think you're right. It's not going to help you. So, and that's fine. But that's me. And this is where I'm getting on to this last thing. There are a lot of people in this world that hear one word and they tune the rest of it out. And that's what I think this guy's doing. Because I said something like, it's not going to work for everyone. But all he heard was, it's not going to work, and tuned the rest of it out. People do this. And you know how I know people do this? I have a wife that does it. Okay? She hears the one word, that's it. Everything else is static. She doesn't hear anything else. And that's, I think, what this guy does. He has that one word, and now he's going to attack me and all this other crap. And, you know, what, and that's fine. But learn to watch the whole video, learn to listen to the whole video, learn to listen, do your research on it. And there's plenty of it. You can go into any support group, specifically the one I run, and type in SPI-1005, and you're going to get a slew of opinions and information. Okay? But there are things that, you know, you can change to make your life better and maybe be able to do different things. Like I've always said, okay? 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I used to, a beautiful Saturday outside. I would put my backpack, fishing backpack on that I made, a couple of drinks in it, lures, baits, hooks, fishing rod, and I would head down to Sudbury Reservoir and I would just walk the paths. And it's probably like a 7 or 8 mile circuit around, and every so often you'd see an opening and I'd cast. Catch fish, put it back, and then keep walking. I would do this almost every weekend. Now, it's a beautiful Saturday. I'm not going to go walk a path because I can't. Even though, you know, I had the sac decompression surgery and I really don't get vertigo anymore, or for the last 4 months, please keep it longer. But, and I can hear better now with the cochlear, and I got my hearing aid back. I still won't do that. Okay? Because my balance is way off. And, you know, there's tree roots that pop up and rocks and this and that. And God only knows when they're going to see a coyote or a bobcat run by. So I don't have it to do that anymore. So what do? I go to my safe spots. I fish there for a couple hours, go to another safe spot, or go to a different lake where I have a safe spot, and I fish. Okay, I can't do what I used to do, but I found a way to do it to keep me going, to make me happy. You know, even like for parties and functions and things like that. Um, you know, I bring my hearing aids. I hit this all this stuff, but when it gets too loud, then I can't take it anymore. I leave. I still had fun for whatever it was, half hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I had fun for that time. The people who invited me were happy I was there or able to make it. And we had fun. Okay, case in point, last year our nephew Patrick got married. Um, and we were there for the service. It was great. The reception, the dinner was great. So that was probably about 3 hours right there. And then the music hit. And I was like, I gotta go. And we left. We had fun. We talked to everybody. But when it was time to leave, they were all happy I was just there. They were like, well, we didn't think you'd be able to come, but we're happy you're here and everything like that. And I still enjoyed the weekend with my wife. I didn't ruin it. It just was different. And when we think of things getting different, that's when things are going to become easier for you. If you open your mind and stop thinking how how everything's being taken away from you, think about, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And that's what I did. It took a few years, and it will for you too. Nothing happens overnight. But, you know, find your triggers, you know, talk to your doctors, Um, try, supplements like vitamins and magnesium, things like that, antihistamines, and try to get better so you're able to enjoy things, even if it's not the same things, right? So, this channel is about me trying to help others. It's not about trying to sell a product, condemn a product. I mean, unless it's that guy from the other day who's telling him, a Zoom meeting, message me and I'll give you the link. And then it's a scam. It's multi-level marketing. And to be honest with you, what this guy was trying to sell is a patch. It has no medicine in it. It just has a design in it. And that certain design is supposed to help with vertigo or whatever ailment you have. Uh, yeah, okay. So is me making a doll of somebody and sticking a pin in it too, and that person's gonna be in pain. Okay. Um, and those for new people, they're preying on you being desperate. That's why I always say don't post desperate posts, because then you're gonna get all these idiots out of the woodwork to try to make money off you. But if you find a way, you have to keep finding a way. And like I said, the first year is always going to be the worst. It is. And that's the year you're going to be saying, why can't they find a cure? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? Okay. Second year, you've learned your triggers. You're learning these things. You're even learning how to do different things and still doing things a different way to still enjoy yourself. And then the third year, you know, it gets better. But the other thing is talk to your doctors. You know, surgeries do help. I'm living proof of that. I had a labyrinthectomy in 2019. I had about 2 or 3 years vertigo free and able to do things. My balance was better. Then I went bilateral in 2023. Okay, so that's it. That's all I got to say. Um, but the other thing is don't listen to horror stories. Okay, people love to tell horror stories. Don't listen to them because it's probably not going to happen to you. And be careful of these people that are, when you're new, you're in a support group, but be careful of these people also that think they know more than a doctor or smarter than a doctor or all this stuff, and they don't have a doctorate. They're not a doctor, but they think they are. Be careful of them because they can really hurt you. They don't know you. They don't know your body. They don't know your chemistry like your doctor would. So be careful of those people too, because there's plenty of those out there too. To tell you, and I've seen it, that exercise alone will cure your Meniere's disease. There is no cure. It's not going to. But, and one more thing is, because I see this a lot, is why can't they find a cure? Why isn't there a lot of research? It has nothing to do with the Trump administration or the federal government or big pharma. What it has to do with, really, Meniere's disease will not kill you. Kill you. It might feel like it's going to, but it's not a terminal illness. That's why they're not doing a ton of research on it. They're doing more research than they used to. But, you know, that's why. Because you got to get fixed. You got to try to help the people who are terminal. And that's why. But there is a lot more research that's going on with it. And just a case in point with that is COVID. Now, I'm not talking COVID given Meniere's. Okay. I'm talking COVID in general. A lot of people get COVID and it's like a cold. A lot of people, it's not. Okay, that's why they push through this vaccine to try to cut the curve. Okay, they didn't do the right thing by it, but that's another story for another day. But I want you to think about something. My daughter-in-law, 27 years old, died from COVID 2 years ago. 27. She left two kids. At the time, Sam was 3 and Susie was 5. Those two children, because of this stupid virus, lost their mother at a young age and need to live with that for the rest of their lives. Think about that, two children, before you start thinking about how miserable your life is. Luckily, they're doing good. Luckily, they have a loving father, two loving grandparents that have raised them. But that pain that they have, that their mother's not here, is going to live with them forever, and there is no cure for that. Have a great Saturday. I'll talk to you later.